Not leave is granted. Lotu-Iiga.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it's a pleasure for me to take a final call on this bill, the Regulatory Reform Bill, and I want to especially thank the Minister, the Honourable John Banks, despite the fact that he's been disparaged in this House this afternoon. But he has done tireless work to make this a better place to do business in New Zealand, to make this country a better place to work in and to make this country a better place to live in. Mr. Chairman, or Mr. Speaker, this bill is about getting rid of unnecessary regulations so that businesses can focus on core activities and grow the economy, and in particular, Mr. Speaker, grow the export economy. So what does this bill do? Well, this bill will amend 13 different acts and bring some of the outdated acts into the 21st century of doing business, and I will get to some of them, sir. Amendments to the Companies Act will enable companies to hold shareholder meetings over the internet and also allow electronic voting. Companies domiciled here with connections overseas and across the country will be able to do business via telephone, video conference and obviously the internet. Now, not only does this reduce our carbon footprint, but it also saves New Zealand companies a total of $1.5 million a year going forward. We've also heard in the debate so far changes to the Films, Videos and Publications Classification Act, and this will be done to modernise the labelling. And as we've heard from the Minister, that this will reduce compliance costs by an estimated $1.3 million next year and will rise to $2 million per year by 2018. We also have changes to the Conservation Act which will allow time limits to be set within which applications for concession, such as the permit to carry out activities in a conservation area, must be processed. These applications particularly may be effective during duck hunting season in this country. Changes to the Agricultural Compounds and Veterinary Medicines Act, as I said last night in the debate, will save up to $50,000 per year. Medicines for the treatment of that world-renowned ugly mallard species, which was last seen selling scalping tickets to teenagers in the Hutt Valley, otherwise known as Trade Me Trev. Sir, there are other changes to the Radio Communications Act which will save around $46,000 per year, and these are great examples of what can be achieved by systematic and considered reform of regulations, and is good news for business, good news for consumers and good news for our kids. So measures to cut the red tape so far implemented under the National-led government so far have contributed to an estimated $200 million per year. Let me repeat that for the scalper, $200 million per year. Sir, why is that important? Why is it important? Well, that money can be reinvested into those companies and be used for more productive outcomes. That money can be used to hire more staff, expand operations and invest in research and development. It's also about putting more money back in the pockets of everyday New Zealanders due to the reduced costs of production. So as is clear from this regulation, high-quality regulation is a source of a competitive advantage for our country. And we want to take every advantage we can to grow the economy, reduce barriers to trade and become more competitive internationally. So ultimately it's about delivering a brighter, better and bolder future for all New Zealanders, including our friends across the aisle and their families. And I'm just proud that this John Key-led government is continuing to do this. And sir, I recommend this bill to the House. Thank you.
Jacinda Ardern.
Mr. Speaker, my call will be extraordinarily